Welcome to the Housing 101 informational webinar. This session is designed to help navigate housing terminology and explore its roles in shaping regional housing discussions. During this webinar, we'll cover a variety of concepts and ideas, which include an introduction to R1's Housing Coordination Plan, key housing terminology illustrated through 5 locally inspired scenarios, takeaways from these scenarios, and a Q&A session. If you have any questions during the webinar, please drop them in the chat or hold them until the end. We'll address questions in the chat during the Q&A at the end of the webinar. This webinar is part of R1's Housing Coordination Plan. While individual municipalities often develop their own housing plans or strategies, this plan aims to create a unified strategy for the entire region. The Housing Coordination Plan is designed to serve as a housing playbook for local and regional actions over the next 5 to 10 years. Its primary focus is to preserve, improve, and expand the housing stock in the Rockford region to support our growing community. This plan also aims to provide a range of affordable, accessible, healthy, and safe housing options for all members of the community, while promoting fair and equitable access to housing for everyone. We plan to achieve these goals by offering information, resources, and support to communities without dictating specific local actions. The goal of this webinar is to support a housing coordination plan by fostering further collaboration and discussions around housing. By providing clear definitions and explanations for housing-related concepts, we aim to establish a shared understanding among participants. That brings us to the question, why use scenarios? Scenarios help take abstract concepts and apply them to real-world examples to illustrate their practical impact. With that in mind, let's dive into our first scenario.
Our first scenario focuses on a family of 5 in the Hananiga School District. As the children grow older and bigger, the family seeks a larger home that meets their growing needs while remaining in the same school district. This family includes 2 parents, one of whom works, and school-aged children. They currently own a small 1,200 square foot duplex. Financially, the family earns $120,000 per year, or $10,000 per month before taxes. Their current home is valued at $240,000, and they make a monthly mortgage payment of $2,000. Now, let's dive deeper into the family's needs. They're looking for a 4-bedroom, single-family home that allows them to remain within the same school district. Affordability is a priority for this family. They aim to spend no more than $3,000 per month on housing, which is less than 30% of their monthly income. What do we mean by a single-family home? A single-family home is a standalone structure intended for one family to occupy at a time. These homes typically sit on their own piece of property, offering a private living space separate from other residences. Single-family detached homes are not attached to other homes, unlike townhomes or duplexes, which may share walls or property lines with neighbors. One key factor our family of 5 is looking for in a home is affordability. But how do we measure affordability? To evaluate this, we often use the Area Median Income, or AMI. This metric represents the midpoint of income distribution within a specific area, and it is calculated annually. Now you may be asking, why is AMI important? AMI is a critical benchmark used in affordable housing programs. It helps determine eligibility for federal and local assistance programs and is used to set income limits and rental rates. By understanding these concepts, our family of 5 used AMI as a benchmark to evaluate housing costs in their area and assess affordability within their community. This helped them secure a spacious, beautiful single-family home located within the same school district.
Our next scenario follows a retired grandmother looking to downsize from the family home in which she raised her children, who now all have moved out with families of their own. Her 4,000 square foot, 4 beds, 3 bathrooms house is beginning to feel empty, and the maintenance is becoming too much for her to keep up with as she ages. She has investments, owns a home valued at $500,000, and Social Security. The grandmother is looking to reduce domestic workload, prioritize care, and strengthen ties to community. She also wants to ensure her living expenses don't reduce the inheritance she plans to leave. Her son lives in town, but with his wife and 2 kids, space is limited. Additionally, the elderly grandmother still desires some independence and autonomy and does not want to feel like a burden on her son's family. Supportive housing is a highly effective strategy that combines affordable housing with intensive coordinated services to help people struggling with chronic physical and mental health issues maintain stable housing and receive appropriate health care. The grandmother is exploring supportive housing options, but wants to learn about other available alternatives. What the grandmother needs instead is a middle housing solution. Middle housing is anything that falls between single-family housing and large apartment complexes. The term missing middle is often used in the United States to refer to the gap that exists between those 2 options and speaks to the need for more 2 to 4 unit multifamily structures, townhomes, etc., as well as some of the creative solutions suggested later in this scenario. The grandmother is also considering moving to an accessory dwelling unit. A backyard ADU or addition of a mother-in-law suite solves several of the issues this family is facing. In her ADU in North Highland Square, she has access to the State Street RMTD line, which can take her nearly everywhere she needs to go without driving. She has her son and his family on site to fill in the gaps when she needs to be driven somewhere, and without the cost of assisted living to worry about, she now has significantly more savings to leave to her family, and when the time comes, to use in-home care rather than moving herself to assisted living. As a strong member of the community in his neighborhood, the son is able to introduce his mother to more people her age to form friendships and go on walks with. Creative solutions like ADUs, mother-in-law suites, granny flats, etc. allow for options for their golden years.
This slide highlights the profile of a family of 4 in a revitalization impact area. The family includes 2 working parents and 2 school-age children, renting a 2-bedroom apartment. The financial reality for this household is challenging. With an annual income of $40,000, half of it goes towards rent. That's 50% of their total income, which far exceeds the recommended housing cost burden of 30% or less. As a result, they are struggling to meet their essential expenses, like groceries, transportation, and school supplies. Their situation reflects the realities faced by many families in similar neighborhoods, particularly in areas targeted for revitalization. Revitalization impact areas, or RIAs, are targeted geographical zones that demonstrate the most salient market conditions, suggesting that revitalization or concerted community development planning would be especially beneficial within these communities. RIAs are identified through a combination of factors such as poverty levels, job availability, income disparities, and housing vacancy rates. They are classified as either moderate or high impact, depending on how strongly these conditions are present. These designations help planners and policymakers prioritize where interventions, like affordable housing programs, can be most effective. This family hopes to achieve several goals to improve their quality of life. Their primary goal is to reduce their monthly housing costs, which would help alleviate financial stress. At the same time, they want to remain close to their workplaces and their extended family network, which are critical for stability. One potential solution is affordable housing. The family qualifies for several programs that could provide financial relief. They're seeking housing options that fit their budget while allowing them to remain rooted in their community, close to schools, jobs, and family support systems. Affordable housing refers to federal, state, or local government programs aimed at reducing housing costs for low and moderate income families. These programs bridge the gap between what families can afford and the actual cost of housing. This type of housing can assist families like the ones we've discussed, ensuring that they can meet their basic needs while staying connected to their community. Affordable housing can take many forms, all designed to make housing costs manageable for low and moderate income families. Examples include rent vouchers like Section 8, which allow tenants to pay a portion of their income towards rent while the government covers the rest. Programs also offer down payment assistance for first-time homebuyers, deferred loans for developers to create affordable units, and tax incentives to encourage private investment in affordable housing. Subsidized housing spans a wide range, from family apartments to senior living high-rises, and is available in urban, suburban, and rural areas. The key is that government support helps lower the cost without compromising the quality or location of housing.
The next scenario looks at a single entry-level teacher looking to move to the region to begin their career as an educator. The teacher is not interested in purchasing a home in the region at this time. Instead, they're looking for a rental property. The teacher has agreed to a contract with the local school district for a $40,000 annual salary, which shakes out to $3,333 each month before taxes. The teacher is committed to finding a rental unit that costs under $1,000 per month, as they do not want to spend more than 30% of their income on housing. Finding affordable housing is especially important to the teacher as they have student loan debt from their recently acquired degree. When the teacher first began looking at online listings, they were surprised to see relatively few within their price range. What the teacher is looking for, and not finding in the Rockford region, is naturally occurring affordable housing, or NOAH. NOAH is housing that is affordable to low-income households, but not regulated or restricted by a funding source. This often is referred to as low-cost market rentals. These housing units are often affordable by the nature of their location, condition, age, or the amenities offered nearby. Our teacher is not looking for subsidized housing or luxury housing. They are simply looking for an affordable rental unit to match their annual salary. But after seeing online listings, they are realizing there is little naturally occurring affordable housing in the Rockford region. The prospective teacher is wise for trying to keep their housing costs at 30% of their income. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, better known as HUD, considers a household to be cost-burdened if they spend over 30% of their gross annual income on housing costs. HUD also considers households that spend over 50% of their gross annual income on housing to be severely cost-burdened. The teacher is hopeful they can find a rental property within a mile of the school they will be teaching at. This would allow them to reduce or eliminate their vehicle ownership costs and bike or walk to work, while increasing their payments to their student loans. However, in searching for rental units near their school, the teacher is seeing rental prices consistently above $1,000 per month, even for modest units. The teacher frequently checks online listings for rental units, but continues to see units in the same areas and with the same or even increasing costs. Large sections of the region have no rental units available. The high opportunity areas near their school are above $1,000 per month, and the few units that are affordable for them are located far from their school and other amenities, and often are reported to have poor living conditions due to the age and condition of the building. To satisfy the housing needs of individuals like our new teacher, it is important that actions are taken to support the creation of an abundance of naturally occurring affordable housing. Having a wide variety of affordable housing types allows for the housing needs of a wide range of individuals to be addressed, including those like our teacher, who must currently choose their housing costs very quickly and carefully to avoid becoming cost-burdened. In the case of our teacher, they ended up securing a modest apartment unit that cost just under 30% of their income. But the location of the apartment and its cost means the teacher will not be able to focus their finances on their student loan payments.
The next scenario will focus on a couple moving to Rockford in search of a lower cost of living from their previous housing situation. This couple has a combined income below 6 figures, but currently owns a high-value home in the Chicago suburbs that they are selling. This gives the couple the ability to put down a competitive down payment on a house in the Rockford region. With the couple's salaries combined with the selling of their high-value property, they are able to allocate $2,500 per month towards housing, putting the couple in range to buy a house between $300,000 and $400,000. That range greatly outpaces the average asking price in the Rockford area, which sits closer to roughly $150,000, which is more aligned with the average Rockford income. With their purchasing power, their options are increased among the available housing stock in the region. Housing stock can easily be defined as the total number of houses or units that can be rented in a given area. The term refers to the number of existing housing units based on data compiled by the United States Bureau of Census and referable to the same point or period in time. While the couple is excited to have their house purchasing power increased, their purchasing of a house between the price of $300,000 and $400,000 can impact housing in the area. While the couple is not at immediate risk of being cost-burdened themselves, their strong purchasing power has the potential to drive up local housing market rates. Market rate housing are properties that are owned or rented by those who pay market rate prices that reflect the housing market conditions in a given area without any government assistance or subsidies. The prices to rent or purchase these properties are calculated to create the most value to for-profit developers in the market.
These changes are beginning to surface in the Rockford, Belvedere, and South Beloit areas. Historically, the median home prices in the region are roughly around $150,000, but in recent years, appraisal values have risen, with average home prices reaching up to $250,000 in some areas. While these shifts reflect evolving market conditions, they could present challenges for preserving affordability in the region's housing market.
As we wrap up the Housing 101 webinar, let's reflect on some key insights from today's session. Housing plays a vital role in shaping the well-being of individuals and health of our communities. By exploring real-world scenarios and housing concepts, we've gained a deeper understanding of the challenges and opportunities within the Rockford region. Here are 5 important takeaways to consider as we move forward in addressing housing needs. Housing affordability is a complex challenge. Understanding housing affordability requires tools like area median income, which help evaluate levels and determine eligibility for assistance programs. These benchmarks are essential for guiding both families and policymakers in making informed decisions about housing needs and solutions. Diverse housing requires tailored solutions. Housing solutions should reflect unique circumstances of individuals and families, such as supportive housing for seniors, accessory dwelling units for multi-generational living, or affordable housing options for low-income households. Market trends can impact housing affordability. Rising home values and increased purchasing power among new residents may drive up housing costs, creating challenges for preserving affordability in the region. Addressing these shifts requires proactive solutions to balance market dynamics with the need for accessible housing. Innovative housing types can bridge gaps. Missing middle housing, naturally occurring affordable housing, and creative solutions like granny flats or ADUs can provide flexible options to address gaps in housing availability and affordability across the region. And lastly, this highlights the importance of housing coordination. R1's Housing Coordination Plan provides a regional framework to preserve, improve, and expand housing stock while promoting equitable access to affordable and accessible housing for all community members. Thank you for joining the Housing 101 informational webinar. We hope this webinar has provided you with valuable insights and a better understanding of the role housing and housing terms play in shaping our communities. As we move forward, let's continue this conversation, share ideas, and work together to create accessible, equitable, and sustainable housing solutions for everyone. Thank you, and don't forget to ask any remaining questions during the Q&A session.